everyone, I'm Rachel.
And I'm David.
Join us to see what the World of Color Happiness dessert party is really like.
Let's go.
All right, so we are here at Disney California Adventure, and we are here specifically to see World of Color Happiness, which is the latest in the World of Color series. And depending on the time of year that you come, they may have a different one showing. But we are really excited to see World of Color Happiness for the first time. And we are going to do the dessert party, which we have done the dessert party for some of the other kinds of World of Color, but never for this one. And if you don't know what the dessert party is, it's basically you get a seat for World of Color. So there's no other way to get a seat for this show. You have to pay for this dessert party, and you get a whole bunch of food and drinks included that we'll go through a little bit later. But the cost is $94 per person, and that does include tax and tip. So you do get a waiter or waitress assigned to your table, but you don't have to tip them additionally. So the $94 is a little bit steep, but we'll go through what you get for that and if we think it's worth it or not.
Yep. All right, and for those who don't know, World of Color is the light / water / fire show that they do in front of the Ferris wheel here at Disney's California Adventure. Now, I would say that this show, it can definitely vary in terms of which ones are people's favorites. They do a lot of different things with it. Now, we've seen how the shows are made. We've been behind the scenes, all that's very, very, very interesting. And we have some that are definitely our favorites. So it really comes down to the music that they're using and how they piece it all together that really get people excited. But World of Color is one of the best shows you can see on any Disney property, in my opinion. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. And it's uniquely Disney California Adventure. So I really do think it's a must do. Now, typically, if you're not going to do the dessert package, I would probably just go and see the later show. If you're kind of into the dessert package idea, the cost kind of works for you and everything like that. I think mixing it into your day and doing the earlier time is actually worth it because the wait times are still pretty bad that early.
Yeah, they also do have dinner packages as well. So if you don't want to have a seat, or if you don't want to, go a little bit early and have dessert, or you want to get real food out of it, they do have dinner packages at various restaurants throughout the resort, and those costs vary. So really just look into the different options for you. If you want a free option as well to get some decent viewing spots, they have a virtual queue. Again, at 12 o'clock, you can reserve a virtual queue spot for you and your party, and that will just give you an assigned color, which corresponds to a zone somewhere on Pixar Pier. And there's lots and lots of cast members around to kind of guide you where you need to go. You just show them your phone and they'll show you, but that is free. And you do still have to kind of show up a little bit early, or else you might not get a good spot.
Yeah, it does get very, very hectic, and a lot of people are just walking up and kind of like mixing themselves into the crowds. So any of the spaces that aren't reserved are probably not that great. There's some really cool viewing spots over underneath the Pixar sign. I think that's a really cool spot to kind of see the show from. But again, part of that bridge is reserved. So I think World of Color is really worth the effort though. So if you get the opportunity, I think it's worth jumping in one of those queues or doing one of these packages we're talking about. So.
Yeah, and my favorite way to do it is to do this package, just because you do get to sit down, and this is our last park day. We've been here for a while, so our feet are kind of hurting, and it's going to be nice and cool. There's going to be a breeze, and it's also the most prime viewing location, so we're going to get to see it from the center instead of any, side views that we might be able to get. So yeah. It is going to be the most ideal, but again, $94 a person. That is a lot, but we will show you what you get, so maybe it'll be worth it for you.
I'm hoping for some drinks.
Yes. And there are actually 2 showings of World of Color every night. There's a 9 o'clock showing, which is the one that we're going to, and then there's one actually a little bit after the park closes. So depending on when you're going to make your reservation, one or both might be available. But even though World of Color itself starts at 9 o'clock, your reservation return time is actually 8 o'clock for us. So we need to make sure that we follow those instructions, and you will get all of those instructions emailed to you, as well as they're available in the Disney mobile app. For us, it actually says that we can start checking in around 6 o'clock. So we'll show you how that process goes when we get there. The check-in process via the Disneyland app was super smooth. Right at 6 p.m., which was exactly 2 hours prior to our reservation time, the app let me confirm my phone number and the number of people in my party, plus select if we wanted a high top, low top, or first available table. We chose the high top for elevated views, but if you have mobility issues, we suggest choosing the low top, as the high top chairs are hard to get into. Once checked in, we were notified that we'd get a text when our table was ready at 8 p.m.
This is a huge improvement to the old check-in process, which involves showing up early and standing in line by the Eureka wheel to speak to a cast member before being escorted to your table. The old process took roughly a half hour of extra time, but checking on the app only took about a minute. We used that time savings to ride some more rides while we waited for our return time.
Our reservation time was at 8 p.m. and we got a text saying our table was ready about 5 minutes early. We were able to walk right up to a cast member who gave us our wristbands and showed us our table.
It seemed like they were texting people in batches, and it was a super fast and easy process to get to our table. We ended up with an amazing view, and were immediately greeted by a server who brought us bottled water and let us know they'd bring our dessert boxes shortly. All tables seat parties of 4, so another party of 2 joined us a few minutes after we sat down. Our dessert came a couple of minutes later, and our waitress, Betty, introduced herself and offered to get us drinks. The dessert party includes unlimited canned Coke, Diet Coke, and Sprite, along with hot chocolate, coffee, tea, and bottled water. If you want something a little more fancy, the party also includes 1 seasonal mocktail or alcoholic beverage per adult. Our mocktail was lemonade, and you can choose from a selection of wine, sparkling wine, beer, or a seasonal cocktail if you're over 21.
The dessert box had a good mix of sweet and savory items. Both the World of Color macaron and the Rice Krispie treat are made with Fruity Pebbles. The Rice Krispie treat was definitely my favorite item in the box. The mini cupcake was fairly dry, but the lemon cake was very moist and pretty dense, so it was almost like a pound cake.
The freeze-dried fruits had the texture of a marshmallow and were not our favorite. But the charcuterie of mixed meats, cheeses, and crackers offset the sweetness of the rest of the box perfectly. Everything was super fresh, and it was honestly a ton of food. Luckily, the magnetic closing boxes made it super easy to take the leftovers with us after the show. At about 8:45, the Muppets led pre-show began, which was a highlight for me. Kermit, Sam the Eagle, and Joe from Legal led us through the pre-show expectations in their traditional goofy manner, and it was a great way to kick off the show. There was a short break between the pre-show and the full show. Our server, Betty, checked in on us a few times already, but she made sure we had everything we needed so that she didn't have to disturb us during the main event.
And then right on time at 9 o'clock, the show began.
Thank you for joining us for World of Color Happiness.
So we just got back from World of Color Happiness, and one thing that's changed since we've done the dessert package in the past is they used to only include like a glow cube special thing for kids, but they changed it, and now everybody gets one of these. It's a World of Color Happiness pin. So it comes in 3 different versions. There's full color, glitter, and gold. And it's a mystery set, so we don't know what we got, and I'm going to see what I got. I got it open, so moment of truth. This is the normal full color. There is a glitter version. This is not that, so it is just full color, but I much prefer this to the gold one, so I'm glad I got it. And I actually really like it because it's Mickey and Minnie sitting and watching World of Color, and so it's like us.
I'm gonna open mine now. So it looks like they're all the same thing, but it's just one's glittery, one's gold, and one's like the one Rachel got.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got that open. You just push on one end to get it out. So we got 2 of the same. It's gorgeous though. It's like the colors are actually really vibrant on it. So the only way to get these is through the dessert package. And I think they're pretty cool. So it's cool we kind of got the same ones.
And we just got back from World of Color. So David, what was your impression of World of Color Happiness?
Well, my first impression is I think it's a lot better than all the other ones we've done. I think we've seen basically every iteration of World of Color. And for me, this was like by far my favorite one, mostly because it had Powerline in it. And Rainbow Connection was awesome. But I just think they did like a really good job of kind of like blending the different characters together. And I really liked the mashup of songs. I thought that was really fun. So I think this was my favorite one.
Yeah, I agree. This was by far my favorite. I kind of knew it was going into it. I generally try to be unspoiled, but I heard about the Boys to Men cover of Rainbow Connection, and plus the Muppets have a cool intro.
That was cool.
So I'm obviously partial already. And then Powerline was in there, and they had Rapunzel, and we got some, Trash in the Camp from Tarzan. Like, it just had a lot of really cool, unique things that we don't see a lot of representation of in the parks.
That's true, yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. It was my favorite by far, and I do think they've made some pretty big improvements to the dessert party.
Oh, yeah.
Because we did the dessert party, we've done it for the Christmas show as well as World of Color 1. And the boxes are much better. It used to be kind of just like a to-go container that wasn't actually to go, and they had to bring you a separate container if you had leftovers. But now they come in like this very contained box, and they even had a very branded, cute bag for us to take them away in. Everything's very like compartmentalized and very well organized. And plus, I really like the improvement of the pin.
I think that pin is an awesome addition.
Yeah.
I really do recommend it. I think if it's like your first time going to see World of Color, or maybe you're coming in from a different country and this is your first time going to the park, in general, I think this is worth kind of doing. The service is also incredible. But we had a lady named Betty was our server, and she was just like really, really sweet and like always on top of everything. So that was really, really awesome.
As far as the taste of the food, I do think that a lot of it has stayed the same since the previous dessert parties we've done. There's always been a macaroon and a Rice Krispie treat. There's some variations of different cakes and things like that. But there's fruit, and it used to be grapes. And I was actually very excited to have grapes, which sounds weird. But when we got there and found out that it was freeze-dried fruit, it wasn't my favorite.
That was surprising to me. Yeah. I feel like when the quality of the boxes went up so much, to have like one little tiny slice of freeze-dried apple was kind of weird. It just felt a little out of place. They're trying to do like a charcuterie board in a box, almost like a bento box type situation. So I was a little surprised by that, because the cheese quality is actually pretty good quality. And they don't just give you like Ritz crackers. It's actually like kind of a fancier type of cracker. But I was a little surprised by the freeze-dried fruit.
And yeah, it's not the best dessert you're going to have at Disney by any means.
Yeah, there's lots of good desserts at Disney.
But they're not bad. And what's really nice is you can take them away. So it is a lot of food. $94 a person, including the tax and tip. It is a little bit of a steep price, but the food that you get is pretty good. We had unlimited drinks, so I had hot chocolate and a Diet Coke and a lemonade, and they gave us bottled water.
And they brought extra hot chocolates for the table when it started getting cold.
Yeah, so they'll just give you unlimited drinks. Granted, if you get alcohol or the specialty, like a specialty mocktail, if they have one, it is not unlimited. It's just one per adult. But I do think that the price is good, because you did get to sit, and it is the only way to sit during World of Color.
Yeah.
We didn't really have anybody blocking us. There's a good separation between us and the sections in front of us.
And I think one of the things to really kind of keep in mind is if you're considering the low top versus the high top tables, we prefer the high tops, but they are like really hard to get into. But it almost guarantees that there's not going to be anybody in front of you. Now, the low tops, I could see there are situations where you might get blocked on a low top, I think.
Yeah, and we also got kind of lucky with our high top, because sometimes they have like a low top and then a high top behind it. We actually were a high top right at the barrier, so we didn't have anybody in front of us. I think when I checked in, because I checked in right at 6 o'clock in the app when they allowed me to do it, and so I really do think that gave us a better table.
Yeah, and I don't think you're going to have an opportunity to like ask them for a specific table. So I wouldn't bank on always getting the best seat. I feel like we were insanely lucky because there was like a hedge of bushes in front of us. So, it's hard, because I could see your experience being determined almost by where you're sitting if something bad did happen, or if like a kid with a balloon or something way up in front.
And we've had that before. I think it was World of Color 1. There was a kid with a balloon, and the balloon was literally just in the middle of the show the entire time.
Yeah, and I have seen them before go around and like say, we got to put your balloons down. And they also won't do anything about like kids on dad's shoulders and things like that. So you might have silhouettes of people kind of affecting your view. But again, the projections and the water effects get so high up that I thought it was going to be distracting, but it's really not that big of a deal. The balloons I do think are a big deal, but the kids on the shoulders, not so much.
Yeah. So I definitely recommend doing the World of Color dessert package. I don't always recommend the added cost packages at Disney because sometimes they're not very worth it, and
Yeah.
sometimes they are.
Especially when you can like find a spot to be for whatever show you're buying a package for, then you can kind of be like, maybe not really worth it. But I think when you made a good point, when you get to sit down and nothing else is going to give you that opportunity, and you're going to see one of the better, in my opinion, one of the better Disney shows out there. I just think that's like a pretty killer deal. So
Yeah. So what do you think? Have you seen World of Color Happiness? Do you have any opinions, like what your favorite World of Color show is, or any questions about the dessert party? Let us know in the comments.
yeah.
And if you enjoy this video and want to see more content from us, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. But for now, I'm Rachel.
And I'm David.
And we hope this video helps you find the right direction for your next adventure.
Bye.
Bye.